So exciting to be here. I don't think I have ever seen so many product marketers in one room. Often we are kind of a rare breed, so it is so exciting to be here with this group. Yes, I am Megan Fitzgerald, and I am the head of product marketing for experiences at ARVR at Facebook. So what does that mean? That means that in a team where a lot of our peers are working on building the next generation of VR hardware, the Oculus Quest, Oculus Rift, and Oculus Go headsets, and they're pushing the boundaries of technology, we need to tell the story of what people will do with that technology. My team and I are responsible for promoting the use cases, the apps and games that are enabled by the VR hardware that Facebook is building. We get to work with incredible studios, developers, and creators, both in-house at Facebook and externally out in the ecosystem of developers that publish their apps on the Oculus platform. Everything from the breakout hit game Beat Saber, which is a rhythm dance game, to Wander, which is a VR app that allows you to virtually travel almost anywhere in the world. But today, I want to focus on the work that my team and I have done with our first-party applications at Facebook, where we're building for the future of social VR experiences. Over the last 3 years, we've had the opportunity to work with products that are designed to push forward Facebook's mission, to give people the power to build communities and bring the world closer together. We've built Facebook Spaces for Oculus Rift, a VR hangout space where you can come together with your real-life friends to watch media, play games, and chat. Oculus Rooms offers a similar experience for the Oculus Go and Gear VR headsets, while Venues allows thousands of people around the world to come together to watch live events like comedy, sports, and concerts in real time. Our 360 viewers allow people to completely immerse themselves in 360-degree photos and videos. And Quill is our VR illustration and animation tool that allows creators to make amazing VR native content that lets viewers completely immerse themselves in the experience. So, a key principle that informs all of the work that we do is our belief that VR is a product that will and should be for everyone, that we need to consider building for diverse audiences and use cases from the start. VR removes distance. It makes people thousands of miles away from each other feel like they are physically present in the same room. We believe it's one of the most powerful technologies that exists today to connect people over distance. And these applications are just some of the steps that our team has taken to explore these use cases and find more ways to bring people together. But where does marketing fit in? I love this quote from a Harvard Business Review article by Denise Leon, who says, "The bigger the innovation, the bigger the risk of failure. Because marketing can reduce those risks, it matters as much as product innovation, sometimes even more." It's really powerful that marketing has the ability to de-risk some of the most innovative products that we're building. And when I am talking to my team and my peers, I often show them this chart of where product marketing fits into the process. With my teams, product marketing starts long before we begin designing or building a product. We're out there in the market looking for consumer and market insights, evaluating the competitive landscape, and looking for those opportunities and white spaces to go build innovative products. Once product development starts, PMM takes a little bit more of a backseat, acting as a consultant to make sure we're delivering features and experiences that align to those strategic opportunities and market insights we found earlier. And then, as we move back into polish and go to market, PMM once again takes a lead role by making sure we're delivering that message out to the right audience of what that value proposition is and why this is such a fantastic experience for our users. This looks relatively straightforward, probably like a lot of the roles that you guys play in your organizations, but what do you do to differentiate your product when there are no competitors to differentiate against? How do you gain confidence in market insights when there's no market? And how do you talk about a product to consumers when they have no frame of reference for how this product will fit into their lives? These are challenging questions, and there are many ways to answer them. We try all sorts of tactics to make sure that we are able to deliver an amazing, innovative message to our consumers. But today, I want to talk about 3 tactics that we use regularly to make sure that we are supporting the product teams that we work with. First, we use the jobs to be done theory to help map the landscape of innovative opportunities for our product teams to pursue. Second, we develop a deep understanding of those consumer expectations in the market today to make sure we have some guardrails for innovation. And third, we leverage familiar consumer platforms where people are spending time today to introduce them to some of those new innovative features they may not have considered. I want to start with the jobs to be done theory, which was articulated by Clay Christensen, the author of The Innovator's Dilemma. If you are familiar with this theory, feel free to zone out for a couple of minutes. I'm going to give a quick overview. I am very excited about this theory, and I love talking about it and sharing it with new groups. So jobs to be done is a really powerful and sometimes humbling way to consider the relationship between your customer and your product. A job is really simply the role that a product plays in a consumer's lives to help them move forward in a given circumstance. Put another way, people don't want a 1/4-inch drill bit, they want a 1/4-inch hole. What is the problem that they need to move past that your product can solve for them? And jobs are very rarely about the functional. It's not just what does the product do to solve a particular job. The best jobs have an emotional component. There is some emotional driver of why people want that job fulfilled. And jobs are rarely one-off events. The best jobs that your product can solve over and over again are for recurring problems in people's lives. To give this a broader example, the classic story to illustrate jobs to be done is the milkshake problem, in which a small retailer wanted to sell more milkshakes. They tried adding new flavors based on consumer feedback and offering coupons and discounts, but nothing materially changed the volume of milkshake sales. So they brought in some consultants to help them understand what they could do to move more milkshakes off the shelf. And the consultants started looking at the data and speaking to users, and they discovered something odd, that 40% of milkshakes were being sold early in the morning. What could be going on here? Who drinks milkshakes first thing in the morning? And so they dug in and talked to the users and talked to the people making these purchases, and they discovered that all of these purchasers were hiring milkshakes to fulfill a very specific job in their lives. These were long-distance commuters who wanted something that would entertain them on a boring car ride, keep them full until lunchtime, and not cause a mess or a distraction while they were driving. They were using milkshakes for the job of entertainment and sustenance while on a boring commute. Now, knowing this insight, imagine the new opportunities that this offers for the retailer. They can explore new product offerings, completely new marketing messages to new audiences, even new store layouts, all based on the understanding of a job that their product was serving out in the market. So identifying the job that customers will hire your product for is important for any product that wants to find a true fit in the lives of their users. But this is even more important for us in VR, because there is no job association in our consumers' minds today. Take, for example, the iPhone. They didn't need to educate people on the use case or the job of staying connected while on the go. They did a much better job than some of the previous products out there, but people understood the fundamental job that this product would play in their lives. We don't have that luxury with VR, so we need to find jobs that VR can solve better than any other product and create opportunities and experiences for VR to solve that job for users. So how do we identify the jobs to pursue? Well, generally it starts with product marketing, user research, and the design team going out into the market, doing deep consumer research, competitive analysis, and trying to understand both unmet needs, places where people have true jobs to be done that aren't fulfilled by any other product, or emergent needs, places where people are using our or other products in a way that's unexpected or maybe not aligned to the initial use case of that product, and where perhaps we can come and do a better job. But one of the most straightforward ways to start exploring jobs to be done is to look for jobs that exist in your own and your team's lives, under the assumption that if there is a true unmet need in your own life, that might resonate with a larger audience as well. And a perfect example of this comes from one of our products, Quill, the VR illustration and animation tool. Lead product designer for Quill, Goro Fujita, had a job to be done in his life. As an illustrator and animator for DreamWorks, who had made his background and his career from his beautiful hand-drawn art, he wanted a way to deliver the high-quality 3D models that the industry was seeking. But he didn't want to have to change his process to use really technical 3D modeling software. As he spoke to other artists and illustrators at events and online, he validated that this was a true use case, that illustrators everywhere were feeling left behind as the industry moved towards more technical 3D tools, when what they really wanted to use was their original art tools, their hands. From this use case, Quill was born. Pop on a VR headset and the entire world becomes your 3D canvas to draw and paint in all directions. Quill has developed a niche but very loyal following of artists who understand this use case, who are thrilled to be able to paint and draw in 3D and have the output be that they would get from a 3D modeling tool. And even better, they're willing to invest in VR technology and hardware and support our other products because they believe in this use case. This is a true job to be done that we identified through our team, and we're able to find a fantastic product to deliver to the market. And now we have artists creating amazing, immersive 3D art for VR. So, of course, it's amazing to have the job to be done so clear up front and to be able to align product features and have that strong product market fit. But what if you release a product and you start to notice that people aren't using it the way you expected? Part of our job as PMM is to notice those emergent use cases and help direct the team to support these new audiences and opportunities that arise. And one fantastic example of that in our world was with Facebook Spaces, where we noticed an emergent use case around VR broadcasting. Facebook Spaces is the private VR environment where you can hang out with friends, chat, play games, watch media together. But we noticed something interesting. A highly active group of users who were coming back again and again weren't using this in the way we intended. They were creating, using our video capture tools, videos that were intended to be shared online and not for use in VR at all. These were emergent journalists and rising streamers, filmmakers, storytellers who wanted a way to broadcast from anywhere in the world, with anyone in the world, to tell their unique stories. Spaces was the perfect solution. Pop a 360-degree photo in the background, and it could look like you were broadcasting from outer space, a foreign country, even a live event. You also, because it was a social app, could invite your friends from around the world to join you, using expressive avatars to express your unique identity, and then create a fantastic output that you could share online. We really invested in supporting this use case. We connected these creators to 360-degree photos and videos to illustrate their unique stories and backgrounds. We built in the ability to stream to Facebook Live, so with one click, people could broadcast to their Facebook page or their group. And we've spent time talking to and listening to these users to see how we could develop this emergent job to be done into products that better serve this audience in the future. There are many fantastic resources to learn about jobs to be done, and these examples of how they've resonated in our particular product lines really show how we believe this unlocks barriers to entry and creates new forms of user behavior in ways that you might not expect. I think I lost my slides. It's not a tech show if I don't lose my slides. But in our role as PMM, we are always looking for those jobs to be done. We are at the front of the line of making sure we understand those needs of our audience. Let's see if my slides come back. I'll just keep talking. So while jobs to be done is a framework for generating new ideas that the product team can pursue, that leaves a lot of white space. And so how do we narrow down the range of opportunities to go pursue? In our world, that comes from the second goal and the second tactic we use, which is deeply understanding user expectations in our field. So people are inundated with just all sorts of information about how technology will change their lives, some real, some aspirational. And nowhere is this more true than in virtual reality. We have everything from the fantastical and wild and crazy, like Ready Player One as a film, to really practical and interesting applications like doctors using VR headsets to practice surgery. So in this wide range of knowledge that people may or may not have about VR, it's incredibly important that we deeply understand the expectations of each of our audiences, and we make sure that we are aligning to those expectations so we don't deviate too broadly or give them, oh, here we go, Ready Player One, or give them a misaligned first experience with our product. And I had a really interesting example of this a few weeks back, where we were doing some focus groups and talking to people who were familiar with, or they claimed they were familiar with VR, but they hadn't ever used a VR headset before. We were asking them what sort of experiences they wanted and what they expected from the technology. And this one person kept talking, and we realized that they weren't actually talking about virtual reality. They were talking about the film The Matrix. That's a true story. And so we are not going to instantly enable people to learn Kung Fu yet, as far as I know. But if we were to put that person in a headset today or target them with our marketing, they would be immensely disappointed. On the other hand, we have people who do have a really good idea of what VR will offer them. And these people say again and again, they want virtual reality to give them the chance to have experiences they couldn't otherwise have. They want it to enable something that was otherwise impossible. Like, for example, sitting in the front row of a Billie Eilish concert halfway around the world. So we deliver. Oculus Venues launched last year, but just a couple of weeks ago, we brought together thousands of fans to watch in real time to see Billie Eilish perform from her concert in Spain. Oculus Venues has had fantastic reception since it launched. And part of the reason we believe that's true is because it aligns so well with what people expect VR to give them. And when we align where appropriate with those consumer expectations, we have an opportunity to open the door to those more innovative or less familiar experiences. By giving people what they expect, we can give them a stronger first impression. It also lets us speak to a broader audience. If we went out right away with something like Quill or something like a virtual hangout space, it's harder to talk to the broad audience we want to capture. But by aligning our message to what the broader audience expects, we can run some really interesting and fun campaigns that capture in that bigger group. Here's an example of an ad we ran last holiday showing this particular use case.
Look at that. Oh! You notice everything down here.
Yeah, these seats are ridiculous.
I feel like I could probably be in the NBA.
What?
Look, if I had a solid month and a half, I think that I could be a real NBA player. Maybe I come off the bench.
You should do it.
I think I can do it.
You should do it.
I'm gonna get drafted at 40.
So 10 years ago? Oh! This dude is on fire. Oh, man.
So while there is a potential risk in aligning too closely to consumer expectations, you might miss an opportunity to surprise and delight them or create some barriers when you do move into those more innovative use cases. When you can actually connect the future of your experience with what people look for today, it gives you that ability to open the door and bring them in to try something they might not otherwise have expected. So we map jobs to be done to find areas for innovation, and we use consumer expectations to narrow down the field of possibilities. But it's still really hard to get people to try VR. And when we're trying to drive awareness and adoption of such a new and innovative technology, this is not outbound marketing's problem alone. This is something we work with the product team to solve as part of the product development process by looking for opportunities to integrate VR into familiar places and platforms where we think our consumers are today. This is so critical in the VR space. When you have something that is so unfamiliar that it seems impossible, you have to start with what is familiar to people. and bring the experience to them in the places and platforms where they are today. Fortunately, Oculus is connected to a very familiar platform that reaches a lot of people every day. So whenever we're looking at building out new products and marketing campaigns, we're always seeking ways to integrate that into the Facebook experience. An early example of this is when Facebook, when Facebook integrated 360-degree photos and videos into the newsfeed. In this case, people were, in some cases for the first time, able to experience deeply immersive 360 media content. Now, these videos would be even more immersive if you were to put on the VR headset and watch these in VR or with your friends in Facebook Spaces, just like you'd be hanging out in the Oval Office with your friends. So why even bother showing this on the Facebook newsfeed, where it is arguably a lesser experience? Well, when we have a platform of billions of people, we have a chance to educate others, sometimes for the first time, that there's something deeper and more immersive out there. This opens their eyes and gets them ready to have a conversation with us about what VR can enable and the opportunities that the headset can provide. But it's not just 360 content. Last year, we worked with the team to release 3D photos. Let's see if we can get this to play. 3D photos are incredibly detailed and immersive portals into a moment or a subject. And it was a fantastic way to start talking to people about a sense of presence, something we talk about a lot in VR, and something that is really hard to communicate if people don't have an understanding of how the technology enables you to feel closer to a person or a moment in time. Identifying those familiar and recurring behaviors or platforms that your consumers use is an opportunity to find places to bring those more innovative experiences to a place where you can educate your customers for the first time. So when we're building these products for new markets and new audiences, product marketing can be really challenging and really exciting. We are part of the process to de-risk innovation. And we do that through jobs to be done, through understanding what consumers actually expect so we can give them that positive first experience, and taking the message to people in the platforms and places where they are today. And as we look towards the future of VR, we'll continue to use these and other tactics to educate and inform consumers, but also to de-risk that innovation process and create products that have true value and delight and meaning in people's lives, and do that work to bring the world closer together. I hope this excites you as much as it does me and my team. And if you want to learn more about VR and the type of work that we're doing, we actually have our Oculus Connect conference next week. And this entire group can come back together because we're broadcasting that in venues. So you can all pop on a VR headset and rejoin the Product Marketing Summit once again in VR. We're just at the beginning of building this technology, but we imagine a future where VR puts people and their real use cases first. And I'm really privileged to say that with our work, that starts with product marketing. Thank you very much.
Awesome. I'm a huge fan of Jobs to be Done. Tried to bring it everywhere I can. And side note, the small retailer that had the milkshake example was actually McDonald's. And they increased milkshake revenue by 7x. So definitely worth checking out. We are going to do a couple of housekeeping items before we move into Fran's talk, which is going to be great. First of all, we're going to have a coffee break, and after that, just know that this conference splits into 2 tracks. So you have paradox of choice there. And between each talk, you'll have about 5 minutes to figure out where you're going. Okay, so I was also the MC in New York, and there's something I really like to do, which is just like figure out who traveled the furthest to come here, because I think it's fascinating that we're like, there's no way you were all from San Francisco. There just can't be this many product marketers in San Francisco. So who thinks they traveled the furthest? Just like shout it out. Amsterdam? Russia? I was sleeping during geography. You'll have to work this out, actually. Russia? Anyone further than Russia? Okay, I wasn't that sleeping. Anyone further? Okay, where? Paris. I think Russia's further. Yeah. Okay. I think Russia it is. I have a little gift for you. Even though I live in New York, I lived here for many years, and I love SF MoMA. It's very close. You should check it out. So I got you a notebook and a pen so you can take notes for today if you wish. And I also tainted it already by telling you all my favorite spots that are nearby. So thank you for traveling all the way from Russia.
Actually, there are a bunch of us from Russia.
Okay.
But I was the first to say.
But you were the most awake.
Yeah.
You were the most awake. Yeah, take note, everyone. My